Hi, Carolyn here with you today from Indigo Blue. I'm going to make a journal page to add to my journal. So this is what kind of I've done in here so far. I'm going to use the some of these are classes that I've done with Kate on the art journaling workshops. So I'm going to work on a piece of card then to stick into my journal, and what I might do is do something kind of like this, but using the magazine number 9. So we'll start off with a square of watercolour card, and I'm going to use the primary red, primary blue and primary yellow vivids. So let's put a little bit, add to that, because I've already had some in my palette that is it had dried in. Let's add some of each of those. Put that one over there. Okay. So I'm not really sure where this is going, but I've got all the stamps. Might try and stamp with the vivids as well. So I've got some little bits of sponge that I shall put some ink on to add to the stamps. So let's do a bit of a wash. Add some colour. I don't really want it to go all over the page, but we'll add water all over. And let's just spritz the back to keep it flat. We'll start by adding a bit of yellow. Clean your brush in between so you don't contaminate some of these colours. And then some blue. Flick some yellow in. Some blue. Okay, now I need to dry this. Ideally, I would have left it to dry on its own. But I'm going to need to. So this is partly dry, so I'm just going to add, maybe see if I can just add some more. With a smaller brush. I'll continue to dry that now. So we've got some lovely colours kind of where they've merged. So we've got a bit of purple here. We've got a slight hint of green in some of these areas here. Not quite like that. So now I think what I'm going to do is stamp various. It doesn't really matter too much about where we're going to stamp, because we're going to cut it up into pieces. We can then move the pieces around then to suit kind of what we want. So let's start with the sunflower. So let's see if we can stamp this. Oh, it's not particularly clean. Let's put a bit of, I'm not sure how this is going to work, but we'll see. I'm going to add the Vivid direct to the sponge, and then that's not working how I thought it might, because I need to add some water. See what happens. Because if we've got water on there where the colour is already on the paper, that will lift some of the colour on there. Let's hold it on for a few minutes. I might just have to go and get tissue. Oh yeah, I have. So let's just leave that on there a minute. to dab, so let's pull that off. So we can see some, look, you can see a little bit of that. I'm not sure how much of that you can see. It might work better with a darker colour. You can see that some of the colour is lifting off, particularly in this area here. You can see the colour lifting. Let's try that. It might work better with the other colours, so that we've got a darker colour then to show up. Right, so let's try that with, I'll just dip this directly into here. See what happens now. Let's go over here. Hold that on. Give it time to react. Okay. And then I'm going to tap that. So that's nice. That's a nice effect. Let's see if I add some water to it. Now that needs, we need to do that on a darker area so that it lifts the colour. So let's, I've got enough water on there. Let's try that just on that edge there. See if this will lift some of the red that's already on there. Let's give that time to, I don't know whether that's going to, no, that hasn't lifted off enough of what I thought, so we'll try that with a different one. Let me just clean that. So let's try a different one. Let's stamp this clover. I think see what happens with this one. We'll take this and overlap this one down here. That's worked quite well. I'm just going to rub the colour over that. Now we can turn this round because we're going to cut it up afterwards. Try it with some of the yellow. And then we'll overlap that over here. See what happens. Let it react for a little bit. So we've got some areas then that are looking a bit orange, and then we've also got these yellow bits here, and then my my dirty stamp here. We've got some lines there. So now I think what we'll do is we'll just dab. That's got more of a solid colour. But you can see it lifting off. That gives a nice effect. Right, so let's try done the clover. Let's do the valerian. Yeah. So we've done pink. Let's try a bit of blue. So I've dipped it in, dipped the blue in. I have to, let's spritz a bit of water on there as well. See if that makes a difference. See what happens here. So that's added more colour on because I've got water on there as well. I think we'll leave that there. We might get more of a solid colour. Why don't you put this down? Right, let's just hold this. Let's hold that. You might be able to hear Henry in the background barking because visitors have arrived next door. Right, let's see what happens now. Oh, look at that. I'm going to dab some of. No, I'm not. I'm going to leave it. I'm going to dry that because I like that effect. And I'm not going to add any more colour now to this, and I'm just going to spritz it with a little bit of water, and then let's go that way. I do like the leaves. Let's see if we can get some leaves on there. I'll just press that a little bit. I'm more interested in the leaves, so I'm going to dab that so that fades there. Look at these. Spritz it with water, see what's left on there. I think what we'll do is we'll just go in this area here, because that might then turn kind of purple where we've got the red. Right, let's this is nice on my bit of scrap. My tissue again. So he's lifted some of the colour off there. That's nice. Right, I think we've got enough of that on. Let's just give that a wipe. That's a clean one now. Let's see, let's do some of these little circle ones. I don't know which one is that. Oh, that's the top. No. Let's see, what should we do? See if I can get some yellow on this one. I'm not sure this is going to work. It might be better off if it was darker. It's lifted some of the colour off. I think what we might do with that, we might have to stamp kind of that. I could do with something here and then here. So let's do the lavender. Should we do a butterfly? Let's try the butterfly. No, I'm going to stick with the lavender. Do the lavender in. Now we've mixed. Let's see, we've mixed. If I do blue, I could do blue and red. This is going to put some red on that and then blue on that. See what happens to them. And then if we do blue there, but then get the yellow and go over it. Oh look, that's made a green on there. Let's see how that stamps. Oops. It doesn't matter about overlapping. And we just need to hold that down then and see what happens. Because what we can do, once we've cut it up, we can add more stamps then, depending how we're going to arrange them on the page. Oh, look at that. So we've made the green. I'm going to dab some of that off. And a bit of that off as well, because I don't want it to be too bright. That's quite nice. I think I'm just going to spritz that. Add a bit more blue. Okay. Right, so that, I think that's all I'm going to do now for the background. Maybe under there as well. Let's give this a clean. Oh, I've dripped some water there now. So we could do that with let's put some water on. I don't know whether this will show up yet, whether that is long enough. Plus it was on the light colours, so it might not show up enough. Okay, so that's our background. So now let's cut that up then and see what it's like. don't know whether this is square. Let's see. That's 6. Oh, that's just like slightly less. Let's do it so it's the same. So I want to divide that into 3. I think we'll just do it by eye. So I think if I do it up there, that's not right, is it? Oh, let's get the ruler. 3 centimetres. So if I do 5, just less than 5 centimetres, okay. So we'll do it about there. Hopefully that will work. Just less than 5. They're not quite equal. We'll do that just less than 5 as well then, and then they're all the same. Right. I want to do that way now. There's 3. Put them to one side a minute because see where that is. Yeah. And then we'll cut that side. That way. 2. 3. Okay, so we've cut everything up. Let's get our journal page. So now then we can rearrange these then however we want. Because we've just cut them up so it doesn't matter. That looks well, those two are similar, so let's move that one there and we'll turn that one that way. No, because that's the same rotation as that one. Maybe we'll just rotate that one there like that. I like that. So now we can add some, maybe I should have taken the page out of there so that it's flat. Or I could add it onto flat card before I put it in the let's see, I'm going to keep it in the same and then that could go in there like that. No, it's probably better as a whole piece, and then you can play around with how you want these to look. They do stand out kind of more on the black card than they do on the white. See? But if you stuck them in like that, then you could draw a black line round. Okay, so I want to keep them in those positions, but we just need to add some stamping to them. So let's keep them on there for now, and then we can decide whether I want to add them onto black after. And then I'm going to add some stamping. So let's see, I want it would be nice to have some words. Let's see if you don't have to be perfect to be amazing. I wonder whether that would fit in one of the squares. And then decide, oh, it would fit in. That would be nice in the middle. So let's choose that one. And then I'm going to stamp that. You have to excuse my head because I want that in the centre. Right. I'm just going to stamp this black. Right, excuse my head. Let's get that in the middle. See, there we are. I've got that now in the center. That's going to go in there, so that looks, I like that. I do want to add some more of the flowers, so let's, but I don't want to add too much. We just want to add a little bit. So let's take this one, and I'm just going to add a little bit down in this corner here. Let's just take the lid off. Yeah. And then just, in fact, I might, let's try that there. Yep. So we've got, where's my rag gone? So I just want to add a bit of black to each of them, just to lift them a bit. But I don't want any more words as such, although it would be nice just to have the names of the flowers on there. So let's pick the clover. So we've got clover here, clover here. I might add the clover to this one and just add a bit kind of there. So let's see if we can get the word clover kind of here. That's not too bad. Clover. Okay. That's that one. Let's just do this lavender one. And although I've got the word valerian on that bit there. I think what I might do is I might put the lavender on that one. But just do it so it's not as sticky. There. Let's just do the words. I've got lavender. That went that way. There we are. It's lavender. Let's do I want one on here. So we've got that lovely sunflower, but you can't quite see that. Let's see what we've. Maybe we could do that coming this way, because I like that effect there, but you're not going to see a great deal of that. I need to stamp more of it. And I think we'll add a bit of the sunflower just in the corner. Okay. And then we will use the butterfly. I think the butterfly can go on this one, come in this way. And on that one, we'll do it coming this way, I think. And then we've also got the dragonfly. Maybe put that this way. I think I'll go across there. Let's go across there. We haven't got any black on that one. I don't know whether you can see that one, because there, we haven't got any black on that one. Should we do these? Let's do these. Okay. Just wondering whether to put anything else on. I've got these splashes. No. This is one of my go-tos. This one. Grungy Little Circles. That is one of my favourites. It's well used. So I think what we'll do is we'll just add that way. We'll add a bit to that one as well. This one. I don't want a lot on that one. This one's quite busy. I'll just put that. Oh, we haven't got any on this one. Or this one. And then we'll just add some to the edge of that. Okay, let's put that now. Let's get the journal. I really could do with clean hands to do this. Let me move that. I don't want to move them. Need to lift that up so my paper's flat. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think it looks better on the white. So now I need to try and get these. It doesn't have to be perfect, as it says in the sentiment. You don't have to be perfect. So we could have them a little skew with. Now then, I'm going to glue them down with some grab and go. Let me get a brush. I'm going to start with that. Can't remember which way round it was now. I think it was that way round. bit difficult because my paper's not. So now then we'll go to this corner and then we can position that wherever in the center of these two. Okay, I did get one of the what's it ones, the I don't know what they're called. I think that went that way, didn't it? So you can get a ruler here and do that if you want. I need to move that way a fraction. Oh look, that's a bit dirty there. Is that way? Now we'll go into this corner. That way. Let's put the ruler there. Because once you've done the 4 corners, then you can kind of do these bits. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this one and this one, and then we'll go over and do that corner. Doing this, I'm going to forget which way up they are. Let's get the ruler, and then we can position that there, and then just do it by eye. Yep, now this one, and that is going to the top corner. I don't think my gap is the same. On here, I'm just doing that by eye. Right, let's just move that round and then we can do that. I'm having to put that to keep my paper straight. Right, let's do this one, and the butterflies down. Butterflies down. So on this one now, because we need to line it. Just move that a minute. That one needs to line up with that. So that's okay there, but it also needs to line up with that one. So I'm not too far out with that. There we are. Just hold that down for a couple of seconds. Hopefully that hasn't smudged too much. So that one goes there, that one goes there. So we can do this one next. stamp which way around. I think it went that way. Let's do that one down. Let's do that one next. Let's go in that way, so the name. I think the writing went that way, didn't it? Let's see if that's... I'm not bothered about it being 100% right, but at least kind of when you look at it, right now that one in the middle. Okay, stick that in water. Oh, my tummy's rumbling. Oops, I've moved it, putting my hand on it. And I've got some fluff off my jumper as well. There we go. I quite like that. Now to decide, do I go round those with my pen with some squiggly lines? And I think I will. Oopsie. Get that out of the way. This might be harder than it. Okay. So I just want to do. I don't want these to be. Do some wiggly lines. Maybe I should have started that side. Get a piece of... Oh man, I've got stuff all over. Let's move that over there so I can put my hand on here and then I'm not getting... I don't want them straight. I'm going to do that. As long as it's a similar distance away from the squares. I normally get mucky fingerprints on kind of when I'm finishing stuff, so that's why I've put the black card there, so hopefully I won't get mucky fingerprints on. Okay, and then let's turn it round. Let's just move these out of the way. Turn that round that way. I'll start that side. Everyone's quiet normally when they concentrate, aren't they? Oops, I'm knocking stuff off my desk now. It doesn't matter too much for this side because my hand's not on there. There we are. Let's turn it round. And that's my journal page. Yeah, kind of hope you like it. And do kind of share if you have a go. Yeah, really enjoyed that. Okay, thanks for watching.